Te oboso wajumbe na menende dinge dingango ulute na menene ninino sebe wa ondoti nema ya Mungu masulia no tetina misisama Ambo
a.m. in Columbus, Ohio, in the United States of America. It's Saturday, the 20th of February, 2020, and it's a bright day. Thank you so much for joining Apex One Radio. Thank you so much for always choosing the station. We love you all out there. Reason why we come here every day to give you the best and nothing else but the best. My name is Ernest. Thank you once again for choosing Apex One Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome on board. Welcome to this first segment of broadcast on the station that seeks to serve you all the time. And so we're going to be talking about parent involvement in the lives of their children on Apex Snapshot, the edition of today. So sit back, relax, and of course enjoy every bit of what we will be giving to you this Saturday morning on Apex One Radio. So how was the working week? I guess it was a tough one. It was tedious as usual with the pandemic still around, but hopefully you are coming across. I know you guys are very determined people, determined to succeed, determined to provide light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you so much for everything you do in your little ways to promote development. And so, thank you once again. This is Apex One Radio. My name is Ernest Maxwell, and it is in Germany, precisely in the HO city of Waldshut, producing this first segment of broadcast from that end. The entire Apex One Radio team is monitoring as well. And so, today we will be talking about the need to train parents to be leaders. Parents are naturally leaders in their homes, but then there is just so much out there that they face as challenges. And parents need to be trained on how to tackle these problems. Reason why the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute is there. Okay. Today, we will be talking about that great institution. We have scores of people from there who will be telling us more about this structure. My name is Ernest Kando. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you so much for joining Apex One Radio. I know we reach you, in the four corners of the globe. So it's exactly 3 minutes past 8 here in the city of Apex One Radio, situated at the northern belt of Columbus, and it's time for Apex Snapshots. Don't go away. In her book titled Stop Complaining and Bring Back Involved Parenting, Victorine Bongshu emphasizes the salient role of parents in the upbringing of children. It is not enough to bring kids into this world. It is even more important to bring them up to the realities of life, prepare them for the future, so that at the port of entry into the real world, they would be well equipped to face the challenges. Challenges, of course, will always be there. Meantime, parents are either biological or adaptive, but whichever way They, whichever way, they need to be strongly involved in the lives of their kids. The question here is, are parents being involved? What if they are not? Now, answers to these questions could be direct. Yes, some parents are, and no, some are not. It may not require a survey to establish this fact. Ordinary observation could be sufficiently revealing. Now, some parents are terribly busy with themselves and other people to the point where their children are left to fend for themselves. The common excuse is work. Work and work. Work to be able to pay bills. For jobs with overtime, of course, many do offer this. Parents spend longer hours outside the home, and upon return, they are physically exhausted to the point they cannot assist their kids with homework. Neither do they find out what has been happening with the latter. And this may go on for years and years. The kids grow up being more attached to their friends and simply tapping more from these people. It could sound pessimistic to mention bad influence and lack of good values. But these and many more vices are what could result from the absence of parents in the lives of their children. The consequences are what you and I can imagine. It is true that teachers equally have a huge role to play in the lives of children, but parents simply have the responsibility to handle the bulk of the work. What about parents just being good leaders? What your child becomes tomorrow largely depends on what you wear. Transformational leadership scholars say a good leader is the one who is exemplary, visionary, creative, change-oriented, takes risk, and are positive and inspire their followers to work hard and contribute towards achieving their vision. A parent whose vision is to have kids that are well brought up must be able to motivate the latter to work hard and contribute to this goal. One of the ways is by being a great parent as well. Kids are fast at learning. They are most likely to become what they saw in and learned from their parents. Now, this commentator is just an ordinary observer and is only making these inferences thanks to what we see around. But experts in parent leadership can dissect this problematic even better. Some of them are members of the Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute, an institution that trains parents on how to increase their involvement with their children while promoting long life health, safety, and learning. Now, was this institute created because parental involvement was becoming a difficult thing to come by? Has the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute been able to change the story on the ground? Now, answers to these questions and many more will constitute content for today's edition of Apex Snapshots. We have a bevy of ladies from this outfit who will be presenting the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute, and they will be our guests in today's edition of Apex Snapshots. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself across the globe. Welcome to this special edition of Apex Snapshots, reaching you live from the studio of the station situated in Columbus. And like I mentioned in the editorial, we are receiving members of the Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute, who will be telling us about how parents can become leaders. And of course, leaders who are able to bring up children who can replace them tomorrow and make this society a better place. Without much ado, let's start bringing our guests on the airwaves. And now joining me is the President's National Executive Director of the Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute, Donna Thompson. Donna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ernest. And I must say good day to everyone. And also just share, Ernest, I have the joy of being the executive director for the National Parent Leadership Institute that works in partnership to replicate PLTI in Central Ohio with Carla Poole and Amber. And so today I'm here as a part of the partnership, but representing the national organization. Carla and Amber are the leaders for Central Ohio PLTI.
Thank you so much. And now accompanying you, like you just mentioned, is Carla Poole. Carla, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you doing today? Carla is the site director. Am I correct?
Yes, that is correct.
What do we mean by site director here, Carla?
So what I do is I oversee the direction of Central Ohio PLTI and make sure that we have our recruitment and our parents, our facilitators, everything that we need to be able to present to our parents for them to attend our classes that we offer.
That's beautiful. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining us on the show today. And still to come, we will have more ladies from this institute joining us to talk about the various aspects and the things that this great institute brings forth to our community. And so let me begin with the executive director to find out whose idea was this institute. Donna.
Great. It was actually the idea of parents in Connecticut, Ernest, almost like 30 years ago. Elaine Zimmerman, who then was the director of the Commission on Children, was doing focus groups with parents around school readiness and heard from them that all these great ideas about what they thought parents would need to do and have in place for children to succeed as they're preparing to enter kindergarten. And when she asked them about taking this to the next step, of bringing it before policy leaders, there was this almost like pregnant pause, whatever group she was in, and they would say, but I'm just a parent. And so when she asked them, what does that really mean? She learned that they felt that they didn't have the civic toolkit to be able to engage beyond the home and school, but to actually impact policy. So she asked, what do we need to do? And they helped create the Parent Leadership Training Institute by saying, these are the civic topics, these are the life topics we want to explore as parents in order to sharpen our skills. So PLTI started because parents asked for it, and they've informed it for over 30 years.
Right. So where did it start precisely, and who supported it?
It was actually in the first class was piloted in Hartford, Connecticut. And it's always been supported by local community stakeholders. So Elaine Zimmerman with the Commission on Children pulled together a host of other leadership stakeholders in Hartford, Connecticut to begin that very first class. And it has grown ever since. And it has been throughout Connecticut, where it has a statewide initiative. And now it is in 69 other communities throughout the nation, including 2 other states, Colorado and Wyoming. And we're actually international in Brisbane, Australia.
So tell me, is this a school or is an organization just like nonprofit ones?
Okay. Actually, it is an initiative. It is a family civics initiative. So it is not a school. It is not a program. It is always owned by the local, regional, or state community that decides that they want to be able to offer this leadership opportunity to their families.
So do you have a physical place where people meet and get trained?
No, each community usually has a sponsoring organization, like as they do in Central Ohio,
Mhm,
and then they work in partnership with other community leaders to decide where will we host this institute when we can meet in person. As
mhm,
you know, Ernest, we're now operating in the virtual world, so all of our classes that are happening, with the exception of maybe one, is actually happening via Zoom or some type of internet platform.
mhm.
But normally it happens in community. It might be at a library, it might be at a school setting, it might be in a community building, but we always try to make sure there's a civic connection. So
Mhm.
you'll talk later in the program about the celebration of graduation. Where possible, we encourage the graduations to take place, whether it's at City Hall,
Mhm.
Town Hall, or in a state legislative building.
You might have said this, but probably I didn't hear. How old is this institute, and how many locations can you find it?
We are celebrating 29 years of the Parent
Wow.
Leadership Training Institute based on the foundation years of Connecticut. We
Mhm,
have been replicating probably in other communities. We started informally. We would get phone calls and people would say, "Hey, is this really what you say it is? You meet parents where they are as leaders?" And we like, "Yes,
mhm,
it is, and it works." And then we find that most parents care and they
mhm,
want to be able to lead for their children at home, in school, and in community. And so as a result of that, we started going into other communities. And now, probably for the last, I want to say 15 years, we
mhm,
have been building in other states, in other cities. And we are now 69 different communities.
mhm.
And that includes not only the state of Connecticut, the two state organizations, Colorado and Wyoming, but there are communities from California, Hawaii, Maine, Louisiana. So we're throughout the nation, Illinois, Missouri, and I know I'm not calling everyone, but if you can imagine, we often say we go from Maine to Hawaii across the nation.
Mhm. Now, until a friend of mine wrote a book on involved parenting, I never knew how important this subject was, and I would imagine right now that it is a bit more serious than we can think about. So, how was the curriculum developed, and who worked on this?
The curriculum was developed by what parent leaders first said that they wanted to be able to address.
Mhm,
And so Elaine listened to that and then worked with other collaborators, writers, and
mhm,
created the curriculum. It is in 3 different phases. There is a retreat that starts the experience because it is a journey. And then there is phase 1, which focuses on looking at yourself as a leader for your own life
mhm,
and also for the life of your family, and
mhm.
beginning to explore how that impacts your leadership in community. And then the second phase really is designed for them to build that civic toolkit, Ernest, that I said they wanted and they
Right.
felt they needed in order to go to the policymakers on the local level, on the state level. So they will take care of classes such as understanding public policy,
Okay.
how a budget works, and being able to influence that and being able to speak to those different issues. How
Mhm.
to build alliances happens in phase 2.
Hmm, that's interesting. So, how are you different from other parenting classes?
Well, parenting classes often are designed to meet the needs of parents and knowing how to raise and care for their children, how to
Mhm,
improve upon those things, or to know things about the different stages of a child's development. Where PLTI is different is we meet parents as leaders and we tap into sometimes the hidden gems of their leadership to be able to look at how they take their skills as a leader at home
mhm,
and move that into community and impacting policy and practice, particularly through a racial equity lens, in
mhm.
order to bring about positive outcomes for their children in education, health, and safety, and any other policy issue that they're concerned about for their family. So we are focused on building civics, democracy, and
Mhm.
engagement from that sphere as parent leaders, not on improving their ability to be a parent. We also believe that most parents, Ernest, actually do care. And those who are involved by working those extra jobs and the extra hours that you talked about, sometimes they really believe that that
Mhm.
is what is most needed for their family to thrive at that time. And it's a delicate, balance and a juggle, but we have found that even parents who are involved by providing for their children in the way that you had described earlier, that they still want to and want what's best for their child in terms of generating these positive outcomes. And we have found that parent leaders who are doing multiple things still find a way to lead for their children because they care. And not only for their own children in their house, Ernest, this becomes the children of the community. When they start advocating, they're not just advocating for their one child or their two children or their 5 children. They're advocating for the children of Central Ohio.
We are speaking with the national president or the national executive director of Parents Leadership Institute, Donna Thompson Burnett. She's live on Apex One Radio. The show is Apex Snapshots. The edition is the one of the 20th of February, 2020. It's exactly 21 minutes past 8. For those of you just joining us, thank you so much. My name is Ernest Maxwell, producing the show digitally from Germany. So, I understand you oversee, these institutes that are spread all over the country. But tell us about the national body, which I assume is the umbrella body, the National Parent Leadership Institute. Where are you located?
We are physically located with an office in Connecticut, but we do our partnerships throughout the nation. Mm-hmm. And so, but when we can travel and be with our sites at different places, we are. But it's a partnership piece where all of the work for the local or regional or state institution happens in partnership with leaders such as Carla and Amber and their civic design team. What we provide is technical assistance. We have a senior implementation specialist, as well as a civic partnership designer who works with different communities around system capacity building in order to get parents engaged at different system tables, and then also the senior implementation specialist to provide technical assistance to the sites in order to be able to successfully implement PLTI in their community.
Right. So you as the executive director, I would imagine, do you move from location to location when you do have the time to find out just how things are moving on?
A part of our technical assistance normally would include a site visit, usually from the senior implementation specialist, but I had served in that role previously before becoming the executive director, so had the joy of being able to go into the different communities where we partner to bring PLTI. So that is standard practice. Even in the virtual space, we are finding ways to have our senior implementation specialists actually beam into the classes to observe the facilitation, because there are a few components that make this successful. And one of them, in terms of doing the class itself, you need not only great coordinators like Amber and Carla, but you also need facilitators. They are certified through the National Parent Leadership Institute. People who actually lead and guide this initiative as facilitators have to go through a training where they practice facilitate and then are certified before they are able to go into their community and actually present the curriculum.
I'm talking about the coordinators who are trained to be able to send the message even further. Carla is the site director of the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute. Carla, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what is the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute's mission?
Our mission is to empower our parents to be able to advocate for their children and others in the community, as well as being able to have their voice heard to be able to create change in the community.
So what exactly does COPTI do in terms of activities?
So what we do is we give parents tools to put in their toolkit to be able to go out into the community to create change, whether they are speaking to their child's teacher, if they're at going to the school board meetings, maybe they're involved with a coalition or a civic a group. We teach and facilitate to use their tools, their voice, and what they need to do to be effective in those areas.
So now we're talking about an institute that kicked off 29 years ago, but the world is evolving with new challenges coming up every day. Tell us, where do you expect to see this organization in the next 10, 15, 20 years? Are you able to stand the challenges and the test of time?
Yes, I think COVID has really tested us quite a bit, and we are still involved in the community, and we will have our third cohort in October of this year. And our goal is to have 2 locations in October. So what we hope to do is be on each side of Columbus, each side of town, so that it'll be convenient for parents to remove that barrier for them traveling so far to attend classes. So we really do hope to have a class on each side of town and in the 3 C's, Cleveland and Cincinnati. So that's our goal, and that's what we're working towards, and we're hoping that the community will support us for that to happen.
This is Apex One Radio, broadcasting live from the United States of America. We are talking with members of the National Parents Leadership Institute, precisely the one in Ohio. But we are lucky to have the overseer, who is the executive director, Donna Thompson Burnett. So, ladies, you're going to catch your breaths. It's time for us to take a short break and do some music from this end. Then I will be right back with you. Then we'll continue the conversation. Meantime, if you are just joining us, welcome on board. This is Apex Snapshots, the edition of February the 20th, 2020. And still to come, we speak with other members of this great institute, the institute that has trained scores and scores of parents on a wide variety of issues, including just how they can be involved in the lives of their children. It's exactly 27 minutes past 8 here in the studio. And now joining us is Pastor Michaela Jasper, who will be telling us more about this institution. Pastor Michaela, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So I understand that this institute could not have gone this far without sponsorship. And we're told that Shieldness,
yes.
Shieldness, okay.
Yes.
Yes, it's, could you just tell us what it is, by the way?
Let me begin by saying, after meeting Carla, you know that she would have made this happen with Sheltness or without Sheltness. Let me just be clear about that. But Shelton is a nonprofit agency that was started by my congregation in Columbus, Ohio. The congregation is Asbury North United Methodist Church.
Okay. So tell us about it. When was it created and for what purpose?
It was created back in 2014, and the purpose of Sheltness is to improve the quality of life for two connecting communities that surround Asbury North. That's the Eastgate community and Woodland community.
All right. And so what is its mission and goals? What do you do on the ground, as a matter of fact?
What we want to do is to work through the areas of health and education in particular. We want to help to fill in the educational gap that exists here in Columbus with many of our young people. We also want to help our parents, to become stronger leaders. We want to help them to feel more confident in what they are doing, and to say to them, you're not alone.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are the programs offered under Sheltness, and why those programs?
Well, we have 2 programs that we're working with. Of course, the one that Carla is overseeing. And then we also have Freedom School, which is a program sponsored through the Children's Defense Fund.
Freedom School. Does the name of that school reflect, the purpose? Freedom. Tell us about it.
Yes, it does. Because education leads to liberation.
Okay.
And so what we do in Freedom School, we, as a matter of fact, at Asbury North, we work with elementary students.
Okay.
And we work in the area of reading. And what we hope to do is to help them grow to love to read and to improve their reading skills. And it's a 6-week program. Yes.
How do parents contribute here?
Well, the parents are an integral part of that because they have to take ownership of the program. They also have to go home and practice what we do in Freedom School with their children so that we can accomplish our goals.
Tell us how this project has impacted your community.
Well, what we have found is that with each Freedom School that we host every summer, that our children's reading skills have improved. And not only has it helped the students, but we have also been able to help our parents because part of what we do is we offer opportunities for parents to be a part of programs that help them as well as far as in financing, also help them in learning about their communities, things of that nature, yes.
And so where is Shelters located? Is it only in Columbus?
Just now it's in Columbus, but we have big dreams.
What are some of those dreams? Like, where do you intend to have this organization in the next 5 to 10 years?
It is our hope that in the next 5 to 10 years that we will be more spread out, not just in the East Gate and the Woodland communities which surround Sheltoners, but across the city of Columbus.
I understand that to run such a project that has a direct impact on the community, you need sponsorship. So tell us how you get your funding from.
Thus far, we're sponsored by the West Ohio Conference of the United Methodist Church. We also receive funds from Adam H. In addition to that, we receive funds from Asbury North United Methodist Church. Yes.
And so can we say that it's all rosy? You got the money and you don't have any issues? Otherwise, what are the challenges? What are your needs?
Let me say this. Of course, it's not all rosy because we're still very young. We haven't existed more than 7 years, so it's very young. We are still looking for funding, of course, as always, needing to always look at how can we improve ourselves, our outreach into the community. Yes.
So tell us to contact Sheltoners. What can one do?
Well, in order to contact Sheltoners, you can go to our site, Sheltoners, or you can also call us at Asbury North United Methodist Church. Yes.
Okay. And the phone number?
The phone number is area code 614-826-1123.
All right. The message has definitely gone across. We've just been speaking with Pastor Michaela Jasper. She's working with one of the organizations, that promote this idea of involved parenting as well. And definitely works in partnership with the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute. Thank you so much, Michaela, for joining us on the program today.
May I add one more thing?
Yes, go ahead.
Just so that people know that we also recruit parents and students from the program that Carla is directing.
Okay, that's interesting. Yes. Right, the message has definitely gone across, and we hope to have you back on this platform not too long from now. Do have a fantastic weekend, Pastor Michaela.
Ladies and gentlemen, Prince Nico Mbarga and the Rockafiljas present to you Good Father.
Good Father.
Good Father, oh, oh, Papa, oh, Mama.
Hey, beautiful piece of music there titled Good Father by the legendary Prince Nico Mbarga of blessed memory. No artists don't pass on. Nico Mbarga is known for his social message. He's known for his works, especially the ones he did on their family. And we're talking about family movements on their show today. Just how can parents be quite involved in the lives of their children? That is the topic of the day, and we are receiving the Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute, whose members are our guests in today's edition of the show. Then let's find out if Amber Walker is joining us on the show. He is the site coordinator as well. Amber, welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having us.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you.
Right. That's interesting. Right. So we would like to understand what the target population of COPTI is, as a matter of fact. Which population do you target? Who are the kind of parents you target? We understand we're living in a diverse society, in a diverse community. Do you have a particular group of parents you target, or you just work with all the parents?
So our definition of a parent leader is someone who fights for or publicly speaks for someone's belief or speaks on a specific cause.
Mm-hmm.
That cause can help change or make a difference in the Central Ohio community.
Mm-hmm.
Our parent leaders represent a demographic profile of the region of Central Ohio. So
all right.
Central Ohio is really diverse. So what we're looking for is really diverse people. We're looking for different age groups. We're looking for single parents, married parents, teen parents, even grandparents. And the other thing is we're asking for people who are parental figures as well. You don't have to have children in your household that you take care of. Any person who is speaking to support children and better outcomes.
Right. Now, Central Ohio is as diverse as it is populous, with a population of over 878,000 people. You just can't work with all the parents. That would be enormous. So how do you select the ones with whom you work?
So there actually is a application process, and our application can be found on our website. What you do, or what potential parent leaders would do, would complete the application. And once they do that, we have an interview that each parent leader must go through. And from there's a selection process. What we try to steer away from are parents who may be in a sticky situation or in crisis. But otherwise, we're looking for parents in the community who, like I said, are looking to make a difference for children.
You definitely would have a calendar, an annual one maybe. So when do classes usually start?
So for cohort 3, which will be coming this year, our start date is October 8th. And the ending date is March 9th. This is a 20-week initiative, and our parent leaders meet once a week. For our first 2 cohorts, we were meeting on Wednesday evenings for about 3 hours. And again, we'll start October 8th and end on March 9th. Graduation for cohort 3 will be April 3rd of 2022.
Oh, that's interesting. And with COVID-19, how do you set up the classes?
That's a good question. So we are not sure how classes will look. We will either be virtual or we will be meeting at Asbury North, as we have with cohorts 1 and 2. We will know more about how classes will look as we get closer to October.
Parents are not very tech savvy like their kids would be, and we're now going virtual. How are you going to manage this, especially with parents who will not be able to manipulate this online stuff?
So that is actually being talked about as well. If we are to be virtual, then we of course would plan to have a session with parent leaders before we start. Our retreat date again is October 8th. So we would plan to have a session with parent leaders, either individually or collectively, either on Zoom or in person individually, to hold sort of a training session. But as we go on throughout the cohort, we'll also have supports that parent leaders need.
But I would also imagine that prior to COVID, parents were also trained on how to use the computer. So was that the case?
Within the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute, that wasn't something that we really focused on, but a part of what we do is we offer recommendations and referrals to different places in the community. We have referrals for doctor's offices, medical insurance, different classes, therapy, even for children as well. So we would have those recommendations available for those who may need it.
We are speaking with Amber Walker. She is the site coordinator for the Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute. And I want to thank you so much. Just take a breath. We can come back to you later on the show.
Thank you.
Prince Nico Mbarga and the Rockafiljas present to you Good Father.
Good Father.
Nico Mbarga, Good Father. Well, let's have Duduke, the cover version by Ringu. Then we'll be right back with you. Don't go away yet. This is Apex Anthology, not Anthology, but Apex Snapshots.
Akombo Music.
And the story of this great institute that caters for parents' needs. When I say needs, I mean parents need to be trained intellectually so they are able to help their own kids with homework, with other things. And why not good upbringing? We are working hard to have a society that will be represented by well brought up people tomorrow, and it's the responsibility of parents today to do that. And now joining us is Dorina. Dorina, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right. Dorinda Kona is the former Phase 2 facilitator. What does that mean, Dorinda?
Well, as Donna Thompson mentioned, Phase 2, we give the parent leaders, we give them the tools to give out information for public policies. We tell them about the budget. We bring speakers in. We build alliance. And so we facilitate this to the parents. And as I mentioned before, we bring the different leaders in to discuss these topics, such as us and
right. And so you do all of this under the banner of what they call the civic design team. So let's find out what the civic design team is within this institute is all about.
Well, the civic design team is like a board. We get together and we plan. We plan things. We do fundraise. We try to do fundraisers. We set the agenda as far as we can get the budget. We have accounting that's on our team. We have people that's on our team that can bring their expertise in trying to design our civic design team.
Okay. The civic design team supports the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute. So before we talk more on how you support this institute, tell us how you learned about it in the first place.
Oh, well, I learned about always to work parents. And so it was very ironic, when I retired from the government. Let me back up, because I used to work with the Freedom School also. And one of the problems was we get enough parent engagement. And so when I learned about COPCLI, Erica actually approached me, would I be interested in being a facilitator? And I told her, yes, I would, because I wanted to work with parents, because that was the biggest thing in the community. Parents not really involved in the community and with their child. I've always been involved with my child in the community, and instilled in him to be a leader. Today, he is a leader. He goes over and beyond. So that's how I got involved with being a facilitator. And I really enjoyed it as facilitating information to the parents that they can use the toolkit. So it's very rewarding. At the end, it's very rewarding to see parents come together, what you have engaged them in and collaborate and have them collaborated. And all this information, good information that they're getting so they can be leaders in their community.
Right. So tell us how the civic design team supports the community outside COPCLI classes.
Well, they support outside the classes because we do get to the community. We have a food bank, not only to the community, but to the parents for their families. Also the civic design engage themselves into helping in the community also.
Right.
And try to bring funds, like I mentioned before, so we can support the program.
So how long is every stay at COPCLI for trainees?
Give me the question again, please.
So how long do trainees stay at the institute?
Oh, it is 20 weeks course. It's a 20 weeks program.
Okay.
And they are there from 5. They're there from 5 until 9 o'clock. We do feed the families, because that was one concern that parents have. After they get off work, they don't have enough time to go home and cook and then get back to school. We want the parents to really get involved and get engaged. So we feed the family, and after we feed them for about a half an hour, and then we get started with the program.
Okay, we're speaking with Dorinda Connor. She is a team member of the civic design team. Let me bring back Carla on the show. Carla, what kinds of certificates do trainees obtain, from the institute, and how are these certificates useful when they get back into the community?
So they receive certificates from our national office, from National PLI, and also from Central Ohio PLIT. We also receive certificates from the state. So we had Senator Herschel Craig. He was able to give us certificates on the state level for our parents, and then we received certificates from Councilmember Tyson on the city level. So they received certificates from. And in our last cohort, what we were working on was to receive a certificate from their child's home school, their principal, and took care of us being able to have an in-person graduation at the State House. But what they can do is they can put that they have gone through our program on their resume. And anyone can look up PLTI and see the history and how we have moved parents with their toolkit from one place to another within the community as their involvement within the community.
Okay, let me bring back the executive director and find out something which a listener has been trying to know. You know, Donna, all along we've been talking about parent leadership, and we may assume that we know what it is, but apparently this could be more than what we know. What exactly is parent leadership?
We define it similar to what I think Amber shared earlier. It is being able, as a parent, to bring voice to your concerns for your children in the form of advocating and moving public policy, but really to just be able to engage in a civil way in civic society. Because we believe that parents inform civics at every level. And if they haven't been asked about core decisions that impact their children and families, they should be. So parent leadership means parents deciding to be able to advocate, to speak on behalf of their children, to partner with others, to move an agenda forward around policy and practice that leads to equitable outcomes for children. We are also it's important for us, we're anti-racist. And when you heard Carla and Amber talking about diversity and having parents from all walks of life, that is so important to our work. But we also recognize that we are moving towards inclusion. And so in the work of racial equity, which is part of the lens that our parents operate from, that we want to make sure that anybody and everyone is included in order to move positive agendas for children.
Right. Now, is there a guarantee that someone who is a very good leader in their organization or maybe in the administration would necessarily be a good leader at home?
We don't assume anything. What we believe is that whether you are a leader in community or in your home, there's an opportunity for you to gain information in partnership, one, with other parents in your cohort around what it means to lead on and with children, on behalf of and with children. And so we have found that from all walks of life, people from those who may not have a high school diploma to those who have a PhD actually gain something from the learning that takes place at Parent Leadership Training Institute, whether you're in Central Ohio or any other community throughout this nation or in Australia.
What are some of the challenges parents face as leaders at home? Because we know so some parents just can't manage their homes, not because they cannot, as a matter of fact, but probably because they are not just there, they are absent. Absent because they are serving their country, they are serving their organization, and it's just impossible for them to be at home all the time. So how do you negotiate this?
Well, part of one of the classes that takes place is problem solving, right? How to actually be able to take it apart and to be able to analyze it and then to do something about it. So if we have a parent who is engaged in struggling with the balance of work and family and other aspects of life, then they can actually use that class, not just to look at what they want to do to change something in community, but to change something in their house. What we have found with PLTI is that it has a personal transformation aspect, a family transformation aspect, as well as a community transformation aspect.
Let us bring back Dorinda to find out just how the Institute, works with parents to face these challenges. So how does the Institute support these challenges, which we know parents do face at home? Can Dorinda hear me?
Well, the challenge Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead.
The challenge here that they face at home, I'm sorry. The challenge that they face at home, like I said, is one I would say that's one of the challenges, the environment. And what I mean about the environment is the situation where they in. Also, when I said about the resources, because they don't have enough information to support their issues or their concerns there.
Okay. Let us bring back Amber, who's been trying to get back. Amber, are you there?
I'm here. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera, but I am here.
Okay. Go right ahead. You wanted to add something, Amber?
As far as the issues that may be going on in the home, I guess I go back to the resource table and the items that we may have to recommend to parent leaders. Again, we have medical doctors, we have insurance, we have therapists, we have different classes, the YWCA, the YMCA. There's a lot of different resources that we offer to our parent leaders to help them. There also are parent classes, which is what we're not, but there's different partners that we have within the community that we recommend to our parent leaders.
All right, we're speaking with members of the Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute, which caters for parents' needs as far as building, their abilities to be involved in the upbringing of their kids is concerned. Still to come, we speak to more members of this organization. Today, we're talking about parenting and just how important it is. And this, like I said, is something we just can't turn our backs to. We are trying to build a society that will succeed tomorrow, and those young people whom we call leaders of tomorrow need to be fortified. They need to be given all the tools to be able to operate tomorrow. This is Apex One Radio. This is Snapshots, the edition of today. Let's listen to more music, then we'll be back in a few seconds.
Akombo music.
This is Apex One Radio. This is Snapshots, the edition of February the 20th, 2020. And so we are focusing on parents' leadership training, and our focus is the institute that makes this happen. It's called the Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute. Well, now joining us to talk about the training program and its the modules is Faye Helen. Faye, welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning. Again, yes, my name is Faye, and I am a parent leader. I graduated in 2019, and as a facilitator, phase one, this is has been a very wonderful experience and a learning experience for myself. It has changed me.
Right.
In all ways, personal and also as an active member in my community.
Before we talk about what you have as content in the training, yes. I would like to find out why you decided to become a facilitator in this. This is not a common. This is not common. It's not like every other training. We're talking about training parents, some of whom might not have had formal education. And we're talking about parents who live in a society that is very complex as far as parenting is concerned. Where did you muster the courage to want to become a facilitator in this domain?
One of the reasons I decided to become a facilitator, first of all, because I went through the training myself as a parent leader.
Okay.
Yes. And I saw the value of using my voice, using me as a parent, as a change agent. And also having the ability to have those resources and how to communicate with city leaders, when you go, when you want to make a change, where to go to, the resources. I saw all these different areas of my life, not only how to manage issues and problems, how to identify them and find solutions. Also, I saw where I could make a difference in a community that I live in. So the only part that truly I learned is there's nothing as I'm just a parent. And that resonated with me. One of the things COPLTI did was build that strength that you have a voice and you can make a difference. And I wanted to give parents that same opportunity because I felt that was very important as a parent to be able to find ways to speak and make a difference, not only in your homes and also in the community that you are living in, be it at school, at church, or in the neighborhood. This organization truly helps. And one way I wanted to help with diversity, inclusion, and also equity, build equity. For those parents, it doesn't matter if you have education or not. The key here is using your voice to make change. And the only way to do that is you practicing it and teaching others what you've learned, what you've experienced, and that same, yes, I was a parent leader at one time, and this is what it has done to me. And it gave me the ability to stand up before them as a facilitator and be able to give them the same amount of love and empower them to let them know that they can make a difference in their children. It doesn't have to be like something extravagant, but all words have power.
From a parent leader trainee to a facilitator, Faye is one of the trainers at the institute where she herself was trained. She's live on Apex One Radio this day to talk about it and to talk about just how the content looks like. So, how many courses or programs does this institute offer?
The Institute has a program of 20 weeks. Actually, it's 21 because you have to do a retreat. The first you do a retreat, then it goes into 2 phases. Phase 1 is for 10 weeks, and then phase 2, it's another 10 weeks. I do phase 1, and phase 1, we are built in diversity. And we also get to know the parent as a community. We also have a change process, parent as a change agent.
Right.
These are the various sessions that we offered in phase 1, how to define problems and work toward the solutions. And we also have how to use intentional language, how to be more specific in the issue that you're addressing, and also learn how a community works. This is what phase 1 do. And the phase 2 part, which is another 10 weeks, it builds up onto that. So as that, then you learn how a local system work and how to interact with them. In addition to that, you have networking. You learn how to network. That's another session. And also the power of the media, how you can use the media to project your message and learning. Usually we'll have speakers from every session that comes during those 20 weeks. Each week you'll have something different topics to discuss. In addition to that, we also use the parents, how to use their voice. So they have to present, they have to decide what their project is going to be. So all of that is incorporated into the 20-week session.
All right. Let me bring back the executive director for 1 second. Donna, Faye just outlined the courses of this institute. And I'd like to find out from you, are these courses designed to meet the needs of parents? Are you satisfied with these courses, and you can confidently say that they do meet the needs of these parents?
Yes, I can confidently say that, Ernest, not because I just believe it. I too, like Faye, am a graduate of the Institute. I have been engaged in this work for over 25 years, but actually took the course in 2016, graduating in 2017. But not only from my lived experience as a parent leader, but because, remember at the beginning I shared, the curriculum itself was developed by the voice of parents. They shared what they wanted to have to explore in this civic toolkit. And so each class, as they're going through, they do an evaluation. They give feedback for every session. We take that feedback and understand if there's anything that needs to be improved, if there's anything that needs to be updated. So the voice of parents is always informing the curriculum itself. Also, what we see is that as a result of the Institute are the outcomes that parents are generating. Each parent leader who goes through it, they have their own civic community project that they're working on in order to bring about a positive change for children in their community. And the fact that they actually put into practice what they're learning is more evidence that the curriculum works. But their feedback, also we do an evaluation. We have a pre and a post survey for each parent leader who goes through the experience, and he or she will say where they are at the beginning and how they are experiencing leadership at the end of the journey. And what we see is that there's growth. So we actually have data that supports that it's working.
Just before I go back to Faye, let me find out this. We all established at the beginning of the show that you work with diverse communities, which means you meet parents from all different backgrounds, especially cultural backgrounds. I just want to know how this program is designed so that it suits various cultural backgrounds. How geocentric is are the programs.
And I can let Faye also add to this, but I would share that it's designed to work across difference of race, culture, class in terms of social economics, lived experience, and all other types of difference, including language difference. So for instance, if we have a community where there are a number of people who their first language might be Spanish or Haitian Creole, then we make sure that there's language justice and there is simultaneous interpretation, translation being done there. We seek to make sure and encourage everyone as parent leaders, they form the community, Ernest. So we encourage them to bring their cultural lens, their lived experience from this concept of race and ethnicity. We explore it from the beginning. One of the things that we do is we do not run away from the conversation around race and culture in the United States of America. We address it very early on, as early as the retreat that was talked about, and then in the first sessions, and then throughout the curriculum, we address issues of race equity. And so these types of things come up, and what we do is seek to create a very brave and safe space where everyone can be who they are. They can bring their lineage, their heritage into the experience, and we can all live and learn from one another.
Beautiful. Now, Faith, can you paint the classroom scenario? Just how do you conduct the lessons? Is it PowerPoint, or just how do you go about it?
No, as a facilitator, we actually we prompt the parents in a way, like we ask them questions because the answers come from the parent. We sit in a circle like a U shape. So when we start, everyone has their name displayed and they present themselves as parent leaders. Mm-hmm. So I would say, I'm Faye, I'm a parent leader. And then we continue on with each other. Mm-hmm. But as we do it as a discussion, more or less, not as a class where you lecture, because we are there to get answers. Right. So I'm talking as a parent. So as a facilitator, what we do is we facilitate. We present the issue, the topic, the class session, and then the parents give us the answers.
I would also imagine that you have like some tools for illustrations, maybe videos, charts, and so on.
As we actually use hands-on.
Okay.
So what we do is when we present, we begin with the topic, but we have posters where they would actually write their answers. But as a individual and groups, we as facilitators, we will notate all the questions and answers that they have and how each person is interpreting the topic being discussed, being it on diversity or race or and so forth.
Without necessarily looking like a typical academic milieu, I would also imagine that these parents do have assignments as well to work on.
Yes, they do.
Tell us about it.
They do. So as we discussed during the first session, we can assign them. One of the things that we do is we discuss it, but then we ask them to go home and research or see what they have in their homes that represent what we are discussing and how it affects them, and bring back the information that they have gathered. Sometimes it may be something they get from the news, because usually what we do is during announcement, because there's an announcement at the beginning, and we allow them to share what information they have gathered, what people need to know about the community, what's going on now in our state or in our country. So we address these at the beginning. And also we ask them to reflect on the previous classes and to come back with some answers. So these are the kind of assignments we will give them. And they can bring any tools, be it a newspaper or whatever they want to share. They get to share it at that time. Yes, we do assign them work.
Faye, tell us about your personal experience doing this. Is this something that is exciting, and how are the parents responding to this training? Is it satisfactory?
I personally, as a facilitator, I think it's satisfactory when you see a parent. In the beginning, they were very shy and not wanting to speak or share their voices. But as you begin to get to know each other and they're learning more about the class and seeing that, yes, they have a voice, they can make the change, they can use themselves as a change agent, that is very satisfying when they are using the resources that they are gathering during these sessions. So from my point to a parent, I think that's very powerful. Learning to speak, using intentional language, it's very important. And a lot of times we don't have that skill just being an average person. We don't know how to go before the legislator and asking for a change. And this program really help you have that voice. You know the problem, you have a solution, but you have to present it. And one of the things COPLTI does is they train you to be intentional when you speak, to reach to the audience. So when I see a parent using that, this is very fulfilling, because that's what we want. We want the parent to create that change in the community. They are the voice. They are the ones leading us. So as a facilitator, when they are able to use the information and the resources that they have, that's very fulfilling to me.
If they are the voice of the community, then they should be able to create that change. Faye is a facilitator at the Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute. I want to thank you so much for joining us on the program. The message has definitely gone across. If you are just joining us on Facebook, thank you. If you are on the Apex One radio website, if you are listening to us on the TuneIn app, thank you so much. This is Apex Snapshots, a very special edition. Special because we are speaking with people who help our parents to help our kids. It's a society of so many challenges. These are the kind of great minds we need at this point in time. The Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute is the focus in this edition of the show. And now joining us is Raymond Gaillard. Raymond is an alumni as well, and he belongs to the civic design team. Raymond, welcome to the program.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. My name is Raymond Gaillard. I'm a parent leader, and I'm also one of the alumni of Cohort 1 and a member of the design team.
Right. So, Raymond, you were trained at this institute. When was that, and when did you graduate?
Well, we started in September of 2018.
Okay.
And graduated March of 2019.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. And tell us about your graduation. Were you excited? Is this
is that actually people have advanced in their jobs and also decided to go back to school as a result of doing PLTI. So we see that economic mobility growth happen because parents begin to change not only things for their children and in community, but also for themselves.
Now, do you have people who did not get trained in this school, but who are training in the school, or is facilitation reserved only for alumni?
No, facilitation, people apply to be a facilitator. What they have to do is already have some facilitation experience,
Okay.
because when they go through the National Parent Leadership Institute training to be a facilitator for PLTI, they are trained how to deliver this particular curriculum. Because as Faye and Dorinda had shared earlier, that this is different. As facilitators, they're guides. They're not teachers. They're not simply lecturing. Yes, in phase 2, there's some time the sharing of information around certain civic concepts, but most of it happens in dialogue and conversation in small group activities. And so having the skills to be able to facilitate across difference, that diversity piece is important for facilitators of PLTI. So the great news is that there are parent leaders who decide that a part of their next step in leadership based on their experience is also to train to be a facilitator. But you don't have to be a graduate. I was a facilitator for years before becoming a graduate.
Right. Let's go back to Raymond and find out what he learned from this institute. Raymond, just tell us about yourself prior to COPTI and the Raymond post this training.
Thank you for that question. Well, the Raymond post COPLTI training, well, I was shy, nervous, was speaking in front of people. And I'm from New York City. I had moved here probably, 4 years before I took the class. So I didn't have a lot of friends or people that I knew in Ohio. Me and my wife looked into it and, found the institute and thought it was a good way to go through to learn about civic engagement within the community and help make a change and impact. And it was definitely, I took the class or the institute with my wife. So we're both graduates of cohort 1. And it was definitely a good way to, one, do something together as a couple. And two, definitely get the tools to, make change within my new community and learn about it.
My understanding is that upon graduation from this institute, you are also empowered to create community projects. Do you have one you are thinking about, or you have one which is already running?
So I do have a community project. It's currently in the works. They're planning. COVID had definitely put a hold on a lot of things. My community project is dadvocacy for new dads. I played a little with the word dadvocacy for dads. It's shorted D&D. And what that does is it brings awareness to new fathers that they have the resources available to them, whether it's advice to new fathers, co-parenting, free events that they could go to. Definitely something that empowers fathers and lets them know that they have people or tenured fathers that they could go to for advice, because one of the main focuses, my main focus is household structure. And I feel like that is where a lot of issues start and a lot of issues could be solved. So if we start there, then the children, our future, is successful or has a bright future.
Would you advise any young parent to get this training as well?
Of course, yes. It's definitely helped me out as a parent, as a employee. I've taken up leadership positions. It basically gave me a bird's eye view of what's really going on in my life, and it helped me to speak to people and ask questions and see what's going on in other people's lives and see if I could help make that impact.
Still to come, we speak with Tricia Porostowski. She is a parent leader as well, and she graduated from COPTI. This is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. Raymond, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the program. Congrats on the great job you are doing, and hopefully your community project will be a success. And we may still have to have you on this program some other time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Just before we bring in our next guest, I guess I should bring back the executive director and find out something really important. Donna, there are parents who have kids who are adults, who are 18 years and above, yet they are still very involved in their lives. Do you deal with those kinds of parents as well?
Yes, we have our parents, and again, we always talk about they could be biological, foster, adoptive. They could also be grandparents raising children. Mm-hmm. And we have children, we have parents who have children from, infancy up through young adulthood who participate, and some who have grown children but still are engaged in their children's lives. So there is no limitation in terms of you have to have a child of a particular age or stage.
There is no limitation so far as you are a biological parent or an adoptive one. Your place is there. Go there and get empowered. This is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. Let's have some music for a few seconds, then we'll bring on. We are also talking to parents who've been to the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute. We are finding out just what their experiences were when they were at that institute, and just how they are using the knowledge acquired from there to impact on their community. And so now joining us on the show is Tricia Porostowski. She is a parent leader. Tricia, welcome to the program. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I love the sunshine today. So thanks for having me.
All right. And so we're told that you were once a trainee of COPTI. Tell us, why did you decide to go there?
Right. So I actually work in my normal role with Seneca Being, who's one of the facilitators, one of the phase one facilitators. My role in Columbus City Schools is as family ambassador, and so I'm already working with families a lot too. So I knew that the training, everything that I learned would directly apply to what I do with that work with families. And it would broaden that work because it would really bring in more of that community aspect as well. So I knew many of my family ambassador friends had gone through cohort one, and so it was time for me to do it.
Are you a different parent from whom you were before going to this institute?
Yes, I'm definitely a different parent. I think I realize, even in talking to my girls, that, telling them that they have a voice. And, right now in the pandemic, it can feel so isolating, but still reminding them, even in this time, you have a voice. So, having your screen, having your camera on, in your Zoom session, so you can have a voice in the classroom, so you can have a voice, in other areas too. So I think it really, modeled, and I have 3 girls, so I think they watch, we watched the inauguration together. It was so inspiring to see, a female vice president finally, and then to also be inspired by Amanda Gorman and what she had to say, so this is it's a time to engage our kids, our girls, and again, just our diverse families. I love working with diverse families in Columbus, to begin with, but then also to think of, ways to empower them as well. And, thinking through the equity piece and how we, provide exactly what they need so that their voice can be heard.
If there's one thing which you would remember of this institute, something that, some knowledge you acquired from there that was very strong to you, which one was that? Like, what was your most important civic tool you learned from this institute?
Right. So hard to choose just one. I think I'll start with saying just the general idea of getting out of your comfort zone was a really big one. And that was from phase one, was to kind of choose an activity to do. And in what I chose to get myself out of my comfort zone, it also allowed me to see life from a different perspective for a different family member who just, things were more challenging for her. And it really helped me to have a different perspective. So, so really that observation was a type of data collection, if I can say it. I mean, we know it was more than that because it was personal and I was working with their family. I was on the floor changing diapers. But anyway, it just really shows that this work is, bigger than us. We need to be intentional. It's very relational. We need to be goal oriented. And with that, data, I would say, is a big tool. So I love that Donna mentioned that kind of the beginning of Parent Leadership Institute was with a focus group. And when I started getting focused on my topic, which is looking at, fitness and health, I had a focus group, a group of moms who looked at my survey. I was developing a survey to kind of understand better what the barriers are to, exercise for moms in particular. So I took, this rough draft of a survey to a focus group. First of all, they were so excited that, someone was bringing this issue more to light, working towards solutions. And they were really excited to have a voice even in constructing, the survey, because I wanted to make sure, all the options could be there, that the language represented a diverse, group of families. And so that it was even the data collection alone, would be accessible and inclusive to all of our families.
Tell us how your community project, I understand you actually run one. How does it benefit your community, and how has your institute reacted to it?
Right. So my community project was Family Fitness Adventures, and not because fitness was very easy for me. In phase one, we kind of talk about what our story is. And in some of that, we go through some of our struggles and some of the hard times. I've had 4 hip replacements in my life. So those were challenges. Those were, times where I really had to overcome. And I found that fitness really helps, my mind, my emotions. It gave me time, as a mom, which is kind of rare sometimes. So it really helped me to prioritize, health for myself. It helped me stronger, when I was going into the next surgery and so on. But most of all, it really helped me, as a mood boost. And I just kind of thought, what is the data saying about, exercise? What is it saying about, moms in our community? And I worked with Gene Bailey in the City of Columbus Public Health Department. He pointed me to some data. He kind of talked more about, different departments to connect with. I already had a relationship with Brianna Ross in Columbus Recreation and Parks. So we had a sit-down meeting just talking about how do we become more intentional and have a plan to intentionally invite families into community centers, because we know, that they're there, but if you don't necessarily feel invited in, and especially to feel invited into the fitness room with the barbells and the weights, that can feel intimidating, you can feel like it's not part of your space, that your space is just to sit on the bench. Parents are good about bringing their kids and making sure their kids are having fitness, but are they looking at their own health, and then, how mental health fits into that as well. It's very empowering, and sometimes, working towards, again, that goal-oriented piece, sometimes working towards physical goals can then lead us to, some of these more personal or emotional goals as well. So it's really looking at, fitness improvements, but also having just a broader conversation. I really feel like, family engagement in general, it's that idea of a rocket launch, and it was so exciting to see the Mars rover land yesterday. and think about the huge team that went into that, you know, and families, they're the experts on their children. They're experts of what is family life like right now in 2021. They're experts on their culture and how, their culture kind of plays into how they can engage, like you kind of mentioned before. And so, and just like in a rocket launch, right, you're not going to give this researcher, this, the engineer might need something different than the physicist who's in the wind tunnel or whatever, kind of give them different tools. And I feel like it was the same with COPLTI. We each had tools that really would help us. It's not like they didn't say, here's a survey to use, and you guys all use the same. No, they gave us different tools to use. They gave us different mentors that really matched with the topics of our project were. And in that way, it really addressed some of the equity. I love that Amber mentioned some of the other tools that were provided. Transportation is provided for families that need that to get to the location. Asbury Church was really a great central location too. Just the staff there was encouraging, having dinner there. Quality childcare also was wonderful. So normally I didn't need to use that on a regular basis, but my daughter, she would often ask, like, can I come with you? Because she really enjoyed, again, like the instruction that she was receiving, how she was being empowered to be a leader and being empowered to just organize her life better. So, there was a food bank too, that, food was provided for families.
Trisha Porostowski is a former student at the Central Ohio Parents Leadership Training Institute. She is now putting into practice what she learned from this institute. Trisha, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the program today, and we hope that you are going to encourage more parents to be part of this great dream. Thank you so much, and do have a fantastic rest of the day out there.
You as well. Thank you so much.
And for those of you just joining us, this is Apex One Radio. This is Apex Snapshot, the edition of the 20th of February 2020. We are gradually but steadily moving to the end of the show, but we still have more stories to be told about this great initiative that puts parents on the rails on how to get involved in the lives of their kids, and also how to help community grow positively in terms of parents-children relationships. Freedom School, we heard about that a while ago. These are all related programs, that help to strengthen the relationship between parents and their children. This is Snapshot, the edition of the 20th of February 2021. Meantime, thank you so much if you are just joining us on the show. If you are watching us on Facebook, thank you so much. If you are listening to us on ApexOneRadio.com, thank you. If you are on the TuneIn app, we appreciate your time. Now joining us is our next guest. Where's Duty? I'm sure I did pronounce it properly. He's going to help me do that. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. And you know what? To be honest, just a secret between you and me. No, you got the pronunciation pretty well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I did good this time. I'm not too good at names. Well, so we are told that you are part of Freedom School. Pastor Jasper explained what Freedom School means at the start of the show. But tell me about the childcare providing service which you're involved in.
Okay. Yeah, I'll touch on a couple things. Well, first, I really got involved with the whole organization through Freedom Schools. And those who don't know about Freedom Schools or remember earlier when the pastor spoke about it, Freedom Schools, or the CDF Freedom Schools, which stands for the Children's Defense Fund, is a nonprofit organization which is dedicated to the enrichment of children and giving them a healthy head start, and also has a lot of child advocacy initiatives. I learned a lot from Freedom Schools about just childcare and the different needs of children. They take you through a national training that took place in Tennessee. You'll be out there for about a week or two with a bunch of like-minded colleagues and early child care and childhood professionals, and they'll run you through trauma and just how to relate to children and just the littlest things that you can do to make a big difference in a classroom of young children. And I took a lot of that into my initiative as a part of the child care with the COPLTI, or as I like to say, COPLT at times. And so what we do is we kind of look to mirror or reflect some of what the parents will be learning. But it really starts from the children realizing that, yes, they are children, but that doesn't mean that they are limited in how far they can go and grow. And so it starts with them realizing, you know, what they can offer to themselves, and then moving from themselves onto their family, their community, and so forth on until we can just go further out. But a lot of what I hope to do when working with the children is to just increase their capacity for, you know, social, emotional, and cognitive understanding, just through fun activities and also just talking to them. One of the activities, just to give you a little understanding of how I look to do that, we had a Build a Buddy activity, which was what started as a creative arts project, where I had putty and pipe cleaners and googly eyes. And before we even got into that, I spoke to the children about, you know, what do they think makes a good friend? And, you know, they're listing off their things. So they're already starting to just express themselves just openly to one another and each other. And this is also an activity that you can do at home. And as the children are listing off, like, oh, like a good friend, like they're reliable, you can talk to them. They start to think about that, not only for what is a good friend, but, you know, qualities that they might want to have within themselves. So it's kind of that like underlying message is a lot of the points that I try to bring out. And so after we listed all the ways of a good friend, we went into the creative arts part of it. So now we're meshing these different concepts of social and emotional development with you know, just fun little activities like the creative arts. And they made their own little buddies out of the Play-Doh and googly eyes, and that was just a very fun thing. But really, it's just letting children know that that they are already in a position where they can do and change and affect so much, and becoming as COPLT makes the parent leaders, I kind of try to help stimulate children in seeing themselves as, you know, child leaders.
And just to come in there, and I'm going to use this opportunity. I'm going to use this opportunity, you know, to ask this question, because you are an expert in this domain. We have this, you know, complex scenario where American kids born by parents who come from different countries, you know, different cultural backgrounds, you know, have something playing on their minds, because they are in a typical American environment with American values, which you teach them, you know, in school. But when they get home, they also have values, you know, imported by their parents to deal with. So how do you work with kids who find themselves in this situation, and what do you think is going on their minds, you know, at this time? It's a very complex situation. How do you deal with it?
Oh, I understand, but, you know, you brought the complex situation to the right person. So funnily enough, I feel like I'm one of those children that you speak of. You know, my parents were from Liberia, and they immigrated here very, very early early on. And so I found myself with that kind of dual identity feeling where it's like, you know, my parents, they have a very specific way and upbringing over here. And then like I'm seeing my peers and contemporaries, and there's different lingo and things like that. And so ultimately, I knew that was a struggle point for me to kind of find my own identity as I live in both of these worlds. You know, and even for me as an adult, I think I still like look to find a balance. But for the children, I just want them to know, and what I'm coming to understanding in later adulthood is that it's okay. It's okay to be proud of your culture and to let that reflect and shine. And a big part of, you know, Central Ohio Parent Leadership is about that acceptance of the multiple cultures and fabrics that build up our diverse community. And so, you know, this just a good little book recommendation here. Suki's Kimono, which is about a young girl of Asian American girl. And she has a kimono that was given to her by her grandmother. And they went to a festival, and she loved this thing. And when she went to school, the kids at school would make fun of her and judge like her traditional dress and attire. And eventually, you know, she didn't let that bother her or get to her. And when it was time to tell the other children about her summer vacation, she regaled them with tales of the kimono and the festival that she went to with her grandmother. And, you know, those same children that were initially laughing at her and, you know, having fun because of their lack of understanding, grew to embrace the dances and all the different things. So there's just so much for us all to learn from each other, whether, you know, you were born in America or if you or your parents come from overseas like myself. And I just try to be the bridge of understanding for kids, and just so that they can understand that the things that make us different is what's going to add to the adventures of the classroom.
Okay. Wesley, I will be back with you to run off, but time for me to bring back the executive director and find out from her. Donna, his is coming from the other end of the coin. That is, he works with kids while you work with their parents. Now, tell me, are you thinking of a hybrid where we will get to a point of bringing the parents and their kids together and do sessions? And I don't know how that can work, but it's a hybrid. Okay. You know, a plan, you know, sometime to come.
Well, Ernest, let me first share that I'm so excited that Racia is here representing the CDF Freedom School, because we, as the National Parent Leadership Institute, for a number of years, had the joy of being their intimacy with the trainers and those facilitators who would be going back into their communities to facilitate the actual Freedom School initiative for children. We would speak to the value of, the importance of, and some of the how to engage the parents in the Freedom School process. And so this is like an amazing partnership between PLTI and CDF Freedom School there in Central Ohio. And I'm just grateful for that. And so one of the things I would share to you is that we already have in place, I think you heard Tricia talk about it, we make sure that families have a childcare component if they need it as they're going through the Institute. Okay. But we've taken it a step further in that, and maybe Central Ohio will start to implement this as a part of their 10-year vision. We have what's known as the Children's Leadership Training Institute, which takes quality childcare up a staircase of leadership. So while parents are going through the Parent Leadership Training Institute, their children are going through a similar parallel curriculum, but that's child-friendly, that is age and grade appropriate, that's literacy-based. So it has that connection in terms of Freedom School. Again, the whole diversity concept. So the types of books that they're getting reflect who they are, as well as diverse children in our communities. And then they also take on a shared group project. So what we have found is that's an organic bridge to building leadership within the family. So that's our whole family 2-gen approach. We say when sites are just starting and in the early years, as Central Ohio is, to build the base, the foundation of PLTI first, and then to add on the Children's Leadership Training Institute. And so we look forward to when Central Ohio will add that on. But in the meantime, they actually are really in a great situation because they're in partnership with the Freedom School there. And so they have literacy experts like Wesu who are here and others who are engaged in the work with them.
Right. And so, Wes, Jyoti, tell us, would you advise parents to send their kids to Freedom School? And how does it look like? How does a typical day there look like?
Okay. Well, I would definitely advise parents to send their child to Freedom Schools. I would say this because for two vital things, you know. One, we just to speak to the parent involvement part, we all know that, well, in case you don't, statistically speaking, when parents are involved in child's academic or, you know, any type of pursuit, children have better outcomes is what the studies have been shown to say. And so Freedom Schools, which is a literature and literacy enriched program where children can be exposed to those concepts, because for certain children, especially those who have a difficulty with word recognition or being able to, familiarize themselves with reading, the principles and aspects that we share in getting children engaged and interested in reading really helps build the key structures and foundations of what will look to be their future literacy. So very early steps and building blocks in creating children's awareness and association with it through these positive experiences, because not only through Freedom Schools are we, having a guided reading curriculum that then we split into different activities where maybe we'll be doing some art related thing or a very motor and fine motor development like dance program and things like that. So basically all I'm saying is we hope to involve children in a medley of enriching activities that can find excites them, and also have that social awareness with their peer group, and kind of lead them just to engage them in literature. Because nowadays, you see a lot of people kind of in the online age, it's kind of harder to get children interested in kind of setting things down a little bit and engaging with that material. But I think when you engage them early on and show them like a pathway through literature, it can affect them for years to come.
When you engage them earlier and show them the pathway to the future, it becomes really great. Thank you so much, Wesley Jyoti, for joining us on the show today. Yours is a noble mission. Congrats on the great job you're doing. Do have a fantastic rest of the weekend.
Allô? Écoute, maman est près de toi. Faut lui dire, maman, c'est quelqu'un pour toi.
Meantime, you're listening to Claude Francois Lowe Telephone Plus, father and daughter in a telephone conversation. When we come back, we'll be rounding off with our guests in today's edition of Apex Snapshots, just on Apex One Radio. We've been speaking to trainers of parents who in turn to be good leaders, not only in their communities, in their organizations, but leaders at home.
Raconte-moi comment est ta maison. Apprends-tu bien chaque soir toutes tes leçons?
Oh oui, mais quand maman travaille, c'est la voisine qui m'emmène à l'école. Il n'y a qu'une signature sur mon carnet.
Mita, thank you so much. If you're just turning us on the show, we are steadily but gradually moving to the end of this edition of Snapshots on Apex One Radio. My name is Ernest Kanjo. Maxwell Ajit has been producing this show from Germany. And of course, our guests have been members of the COPTLI.
Les mots se meurent dans l'écouteur et le téléphone.
Thank you so much, Patsy Keck, for joining us on the program today. Thank you, Anna Gallegos for joining us on the program today. Maria Judith Alvarez, thank you so much. Gina Levon Simpson, we are grateful for your time. Lina Iketudu, you've been watching the show all the way from Douala in Cameroon. Thank you so much for your time. This is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. When our guests come back on the airwaves, we will be running off this edition of the show.
Toute ma peine, combien toutes les deux, moi je vous aime.
Mais je t'ai jamais vu, moi. Mais qu'est-ce que t'as? Pourquoi t'as changé de voix? Mais tu pleures? Pourquoi?
Meanwhile, to parents out there, be involved in the lives of your kids, because if you do not, then they may go wayward, or they may not be the good leaders of tomorrow which you aspire. And so just be there for them and make sure you're doing the right thing. Make sure you've been an example. Make sure that you are exemplary. But to be fortified or to be empowered more, just register at the Central Ohio Parents, Teachers, or Parent Leadership Training Institute, which we've been focusing on this edition of Apex Snapshots, just on Apex One Radio. And before we run off, let's bring back our guests on their airwaves. Welcome back, Donna. Welcome back, Kala.
Thank you, Ernest.
All right. Now, so I would like you to quickly talk about some of the partner organizations you work with. So, which are these ones?
Okay, I'll take that question. So I will just mention some of the partners that have helped us get to this point. So first of all is National PLI. We couldn't be to this point without National PLTI. Mm-hmm. And we also want to thank Asbury North United Methodist Church. They are very instrumental in us being here where we're at, which is all. So we have Giant Eagle, who has supported us, Myers, Kroger's, Sam's Club, Walmart, Care Source, mm-hmm. Impact 60, Councilmember Tyson. Those are just to name a few. We're in partnership with Action for Children, the Franklin County Health Department. Mm-hmm. Some of the partners that have supported us to get to this point. We are also really looking towards having more donors and more support from our community to continue this great work that we're doing in the community of Central Ohio.
Amber Walker, are you there?
I'm here.
Right. Now, if somebody were to ask you, was the COPLTI necessary for Central Ohio, what would you say?
I would say absolutely. With our parent leaders that we have graduated so far, there has been quite a few community projects that have been put into place. We've been assisting parents, of course, as we've heard, with learning to use their voice in different rooms and different places, whether it be speaking with their child's teacher or city council or just different things like that. I think that it has been definitely necessary, and it will continue to be needed in our environment and the climate that we are in today.
Right. Now, Donna, 29 years down the road, how much progress do you think has been made?
I think that the evaluations that I talked about earlier speak to progress in different communities across the nation. But what we recognize in parent leadership, that there's always work to do. And so we are focused with communities like Central Ohio and the great partnership between the CDF Freedom School and Asbury North UMC to be able to keep moving for change in positive ways for our children. But I believe that every time parents lead and bring their voice to different systems, that there is a nudge, there's a ripple, there's a change that is happening or is on the way to happening.
Mm-hmm. Now, we are almost 1 year gone in a pandemic that has brought everyone on their feet. Kids have been at home for almost a year now. A lot of them are getting frustrated. Parents are frustrated as well. So tell me, how do you hope to deal with this current situation and with things changing in every sector, which is definitely going to affect families? How do you hope to adapt, to these changes?
Is that for me?
That is for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we've already done some adaptation in that we have created the PLTIV, a virtual experience where classes that used to meet in person can't. So we have an interactive virtual adaptation of our curriculum. It includes even childcare components where there's CLTI and suggestions for how to engage the children off and on screen. The other thing, though, parent leaders haven't stopped leading in the midst of this pandemic, not in terms of the pandemic of COVID-19, but also the racial injustice pandemic. You have parent leaders across this nation who are pushing to be, whether it's at virtual or socially distanced in-person tables around how do we address the learning loss potential with our children? How do we make sure that we're addressing the issues of equity in education that existed before and in the midst of COVID? You have parent leaders who are out there advocating for changes in the justice system in order for there not to be the unfortunate murdering of Black and brown people, particularly at the hands of police. So there are people who are advocating for justice and change, whether it's in early education, health equity, and also issues of safety. So people are finding a way to do it, whether it's in their virtual town hall meeting or city council meeting or state legislative meeting. Parents are extremely creative. And they are also, even in the midst of crisis, they know the opportunity that exists to be able to make a positive change, to not allow the crisis to overrun their advocacy.
Donna, just before you go away, I would like you to speak to two groups of people. First, to parents who are your target audience, and secondly, to society at large. We could even reduce it to the powers that be, the powers that be, the people who run our society, because I understand a lot of parents go through a lot. Now, we want the parents to be involved in the lives of their kids. Their employers want them to be involved in their jobs. And that is there's definitely going to be a conflict here. So I'd like you to talk to the people who employ these parents and to their parents.
Okay. So to those who are system leaders and employers, what we would recommend is that you understand that if you make space for the growth and capacity building of your parents who happen to be employees, but they are parents as well, then you will benefit as they grow, as they improve, as they work for change in the community where your business is. That will be a benefit to you as well as the larger community, not just to them and their families. And to parents, thank you. Thank you for already leading for your children in your home and in their schools and in other areas of community. But especially, we want to thank you for lending your voice at different systems tables around policy issues. And if you have felt like you can't, we want to encourage you as parents to find out about organizations like the Central Ohio Parent Leadership Training Institute. See if this is happening in your community, or reach out to National Parent Leadership Institute if you're interested in exploring how it might happen. But we want you to know your voice matters, it's important, and we hear you, and we want systems to be responsive because you are the experts, as Tricia, I think, shared, for your children and for your families.
We want you to be responsible. We want you to be part of this whole building process. Donna, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the show. You are the executive director of the Parent Leadership Institute. Just before we go away, Carla, for parents who may be interested in being part of this training, how can they reach the Institute?
Yes, they can contact us. They go to our website, which is centralohioplti.org. There is a working application site. We are open for enrollment for our class to start in October 2021. We have not determined whether that class will be virtual or in person based on our current state that we're in, but that will be determined this summer, and we will be able to let parents know. But we will be safe in conducting our classes.
We want to thank you all for taking off your time to talk to our parents. Yours is a noble profession, it's a noble mission, and there is just nothing that can be bigger than what you are doing. Thank you so much for all you do to this community and, of course, the world at large. The impact of this is definitely being felt. We will create another platform so we can talk about this further. Thank you so much, Donna. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Trisha. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Wese Juti. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Pastor Michaela. Thank you, Raymond, for joining us on the show today. Do have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and we wish you all the best.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Our public relations officer who worked on this show before it became a reality is Okon Ekweyon, whom we want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Maxwell Ajit. He was our producer, and he controlled us digitally from Waldshut in Germany. Gracie Boise, Ayu Akinole, Emmanuel Pei, and the rest of the Apex One radio team monitored this live broadcast. My name is Ernest. I was the host of this edition of Apex Snapshots, which came to you this day, February the 20th, 2021. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. We are back again not too long from now. We will announce our next coming on the airwaves. Do have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and may God bless you. But then, keep listening to programs on Apex One Radio, because we are 24/7. Bye for now.
a representative from each precinct, typically members of the zone, and lets us know that somebody in the community wants to donate, wants to put together a community activity, and then they ask for officers to take it.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. So, why is that important to continue, especially with the Valentine's?
Well, especially Valentine's Day, a lot of our residents aren't really going to see this coming, so this will be a pleasant surprise to start out the year. And we always want to set the tone off right, so 2021, we want to kind of change it from 2020. So we don't want it to be 2020 plus one. We want to try to have it be like, hey, we're here, we hear you, and we're out to support you. So, and this gives us a great opportunity to interact with our residents, give back to them.
What are some of the supplies that you guys are giving out today?
So, a lot of the same essentials that we've given out in the past holidays. So, it's going to be ramen noodle soup, canned goods, hand sanitizer, some treats, so some candy and stuff like that. Just kind of feel a little bit in the Valentine's Day spirit. You can't just have it all be healthy things. You got to have a little bit of sweets in there. It's got a good balance.
Is there any cards, like shape, like Valentine's cards, shape and everything that the kids made?
So yes, so each one of the kids actually hand designed the bag. So, and you can kind of see their artistry in each one of those that we're giving out today. And that just lets you show all the love that's in the consideration of putting each one of the bags here today. And they really get to see that because the artistry is a reflection of how much they care.
And now that all the bags, you guys collected all the bags, what's next as far as?
So we were going to hand it out to families that we've come across, and that's just during our normal patrol routine, sometimes community events. And we'll go into their house and kind of stop by, let them know that we're here, and hand out these gift bags, and kind of let them know what they're for, and hopefully put a smile on their face.
All right, well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nicole Banks, the founder and president of Star Society. Hi, I'm Cedric Sanchella from Sahara Columbus.
All right, so next you guys report and doing the Thanksgiving run, Christmas as well. Now you guys are adding Valentine's Day to the district wide.
It's a wonderful opportunity to connect with the community and help people at the same time that we're bringing the police together.
Where did you get all the parents?
But most of them really like their kids to be involved as well. Now we just created a platform in Louis Center